Welcome to And This Is Why It Sucks. Continuing on the podcast series, or the sections we're going to be calling Techno or Tech Dystopia. You know, I like Elon. I think Elon's pretty cool. I think he's the first billionaire to ever raise up to something like what we'd hope Batman would or Bruce Wayne. I don't know why any of the other billionaires haven't done it. One thing I can't get behind with the man, though, is Neuralink. And the reason why is there are two types of access when it comes to computers. Read access and write access. Okay? Well, there's three, technically. One with execute. Okay? And then there's, alright, if you really want to get technical, there's also full control. Okay, meaning you can do all of them. But what bothers me about this is someone has direct access, and they don't know yet, to read-write, they don't know yet, directly to your brain. Now, that may give you that great experience in the virtual world, and it may help you communicate really fast. However, what happens if this ever gets weaponized against you? Let me explain. So we live in this very integrated cultural world, right? That is the United States, the Internet of Things. It gets to a point with Neuralink, and everybody gets a Neuralink, right? That you start using it to pay as you're going through life. You're paying for gas. You're paying for your cup of coffee. One day, going through Starbucks, you go to pay and it says, hey, you can't pay, and I didn't receive your money. You can't have this. You go, what the hell? And then a message pops up inside your brain in your own voice that says, you can't buy anything. You've been censored for hate speech, for impure thoughts. I don't want... My brain has been a constant battleground since I was a young man. There are a lot of thoughts, both good, bad, whatever. And a lot of times I've expressed them, and sometimes I've withdrawn from expressing them because, straight up, it's a bad idea to say some things because words can be just as bad as bullets. You can't pull them back. But now you're giving someone read-write access to your brain. So you see the CEO's wife, because you live in California or something, or girlfriend, something. It's kind of hard to use Elon in this example because Elon has like lots of girls and he's made lots of kids because he believes in creating more people because we need more people to go to the stars. Not a hard thought there. But anyway, if Elon had a girlfriend and I checked her out and it pissed him off for some reason because somehow maybe he felt threatened. He wouldn't because it's me, but anyway, I digress. Good example. So since he's Neuralinked and has the same technology as I do, but he has read-write access to everyone where I only have read-write access to my own brain and to the story that they're playing for me whenever I supposedly access it. But now he can say, oh, well, I don't like that guy. I see who he is because as I was walking by, it told me who his name is. I want him to be shut out of the economy, shut out of everything. Okay, so now you can't pay for nothing. But now you go to try to get on that dreamscape game that they're trying to get you to buy this for that awesome experience, right? But you can't get onto that either because you've been shut out of that system. So now what? This sounds like science fiction. But 20 years ago, we weren't thinking about Neuralink being an actual thing, seeing progress on that front. We were supposed to have the first manned mission to Mars by 1997. Here it is, 2022, getting ready to roll into 2023, and we still have not landed a man on Mars. What makes you think that the first generation of this is going to be awesome and good, that you're willing to jeopardize parts of your brain to have this physically implanted into you? And while I understand the cool cyberpunk thing because I've been a technologist most of my life, I don't understand why you would want to have something inorganic like that embedded in you that would give someone direct access to you. Because in reality, our freedom is self-perceived. And what I mean by that, some people can be locked in a prison and be absolutely free. Why? Because their mind is where they live anyway. Some people yearn for the outdoors and free spaces. And if you lock them into a prison, they wither and die. So, why would you willingly put yourself in a prison if you know what type of person you are? And if you don't believe they will get to the point to do that, did you ever think that we would see riots in the Capitol on January 6th? Again, horrible. Don't agree with it, but don't see that as a center of power for me anyway, and don't really care. I never thought we would see Donald Trump as a president, and I damn sure never thought we would be in the situation we are right now in the United States. Don't discount or give people power over something now, because if you trust the government to not abuse that power, you are fooling yourself. After 9/11, every American in the United States was all for you going after any terrorist to go get them. We, like dumbasses, signed on for the Patriot Act. We let them pass that. How are they using the Patriot Act now? They're using it to spy on American citizens at will. For whatever. Edward Snowden showed that. So, if they're willing to abuse the power that we gave them when there was an emergency, what makes you think they won't do this or abuse it later down the line? When the inception of the Second Amendment came out, it says shall not be infringed. All those arguments that people have against the Second Amendment, that it wasn't, the AR-15 was never envisioned. Bullcrap. You could own a cannon. You could own a puckle gun. If you don't know what those are, at the time these would have been massively destructive. Every bit equal to what we have now. However, you were allowed to have exactly what the military, the American military, had. Now, why was that? It was to keep the American military honest. Look around what's going on in China. They're already being able to monitor everything everywhere with the Internet of Things. They are already surfing and using big data against you. Big data is where every little data point you have, when you poop, when you're hungry, when you're thirsty, when your phone's idle, when anything, it can monitor the stuff you do just by your patterns. That's what they're talking about with AI, machine learning. It's learning your patterns. AI right now, as advanced as it is, all it's doing is an extremely awesome search for the right answer. You give it a problem in any way, shape, or form, it's searching the entire global web for scenarios just like that. And if there are multiple scenarios like that, it stacks up that and says, that's the probable answer. That's what I'm going to do. That's what machine learning does right now. Okay? Now you're going to give them, you're ever pissed off, the government's ever pissed off at you. Your ex is ever pissed off at you. They find a way to get law enforcement involved, who then sides with them and cuts you out of the system. You're boxing yourself in looking at things like Neural net. Using social media, it's interesting to me because I'm a troll, more so than anything. That, and I'm trying to cultivate a brand for New Mexico Black Rifle operators and this is why it sucks, and your donut, you eat it. Here's why I say this, guys, why I'm showing you the tech dystopia. Pay attention to what's going on in China right now. There's riots because the Chinese government screwed up with the zero COVID, just like our federal government did. But our federal government eventually learned, because the American people said no, that was not going to be how it was rolling. Now, why didn't they continue to roll forward like that? Because there was enough pushback here, and there was enough armed people in the society that they can't go door to door and enforce their will upon you. Yes, there are trade-offs for that much freedom. But look what's happening right now in China. People in Amunji, it's in Guangzhou, or not Guangzhou, it's in Zhejiang. It's the ancestral home of the Uyghur Muslims. But the Uyghurs don't live in all of it. Specifically, there was a fire there. It killed people and it burned for over 3 hours. The people inside were physically stopped by welded or chained doors to keep them inside. And they had been quarantined for over 100 days straight, where they couldn't leave their house. Food and provisions were dropped off there, what they could get. And people died. It's caused problems in China because of the zero COVID stuff. However, what happened at the same time is a miracle of modern media. The Chinese communists allowed World Cup games to be streamed or shown, televised in China. If you are living in a society where you are quarantined because you're afraid of COVID, or because the government's demonized COVID so much, there's no natural immunity because you've all been locked away. No one can work because they're all locked in their homes. The economy is crumbling because of all those things happening. And there's one man at the top that's controlling everything. He now let the biggest mistake slip, isn't what I said, the World Cup. What happens? They televise World Cup for a few games, and then Chinese media government, the CCP, realize what the hell is going on. They see the stands and there's no one in masks. They see the pre-game stuff and there's no one in masks. They see partying and reveling with big crowds of people and no one in masks. And they've been under COVID restrictions or zero COVID for 3 years. And every technology, down to drones hunting you down in China, has been used to subdue the populace. In the United States, we have inalienable rights that our founding fathers inked. I am one of those cyber dystopian people that isn't okay with them using what I have helped them build against my people, my friends, my family, my citizens, my neighbors, my people, the American people. That's why Tech Dystopia has started for a series, and that's why we're going down that rabbit hole. Before, I've covered the Internet of Things a little bit and augmented reality. I've covered digital currency a little bit. We're going to get back into that a little more. And today, I cover Neuralink. So I'm telling you guys, think about what this is doing. Do you want someone to read every thought, everything you've ever done, every memory from your brain without your consent? And even if you gave consent to parts of that, how do you know that they are for sure not doing everything that they want to? You don't know. There is no safety check here. But life is all about risks. You do you. Like, share, subscribe, be great.